Welcome to a fantasy story of mine, sharing a fantastical universe full of magic and creatures of mysterious kinds, of tales long dreamed. This story will now begin. The evening was cold, chilly, with wind blowing, every now and then howling. A dark October evening. There nestled warmly in the woods was a grumpy dragon named Will. He was a poet, a writer, author, and enjoyed spending his time alone, to work on his novels. His favorite thing to do was to sit peacefully in his soft chair with his slippers on and a cup of hot tea by candlelight. Usually this scene helped calm his moody moods. He sat this evening again down to a book he wrote. It was about a witch who lived nearby, misunderstood but kind. His ink and quill suddenly ran dry as he finished the last page of his story. He set his teacup down and stirred around the bag inside before sipping up the last few drops. His housecoat was long and almost touched the floor, so he held it up when treading on grass as to not soil the edges of it. Always staying comfy he was, no matter where he went. He looked down at the now completed new storybook of his and sighed. Ah, there it is! My newest creation! I hope that bookseller in town can help publish it for me. I want a few copies sold. My name will be heard everywhere, now I'm sure it would. Once they hear about this new adventure, they will love it. Will ran to the front door as it opened, a lantern in hand and a book in his pocket. The heavy and chilly wind ruffled his hair, but that didn't stop Will from rushing out to the town if it meant eyes on his new story. Will walked along, pushing through the breeze and through the evening darkness. "The bookstore should be closing soon. I better get there fast," he said, as he scurried along. The night was frightening and new to him. It was as if he could see glowing orange eyeballs looking at him through the thick of the forest beside him. A cricket chirped and jumped out of the grasses next to his trail and landed on his foot. He jumped. "Ah! Oh, it's just a little cricket," he grumbled. The cricket was quite large for one, so it startled him. Owls could be heard hooting from afar, their strange sounds echoing, and almost worrying as to what creature could be making those sounds. Will knows an owl which carries messages to and from his little cottage, but that owl was so noisy that the forest's owls did not faze him. After a few minutes, the grass beneath his feet turned to sporadically placed cobblestones. He was approaching town, as he could tell. As he entered, he could see lanterns and street lights hanging all over, moths clinging and flying around each like swarming bats. And there were even some bats. After all, it was dark out. There were only a few houses and shops with their lights on. He hoped the bookstore had theirs on. The seller was one of his good friends, so he assumed he'd be offered inside. There in front of him now lay a small, cozy store, the bookstore. He could see lights on inside. The books on display in the front display glass were shown by candles. One of them was his, an old story he had wrote about a year ago, still being cherished among the town's center to be seen by all. This was one instance where he smiled. Now it was time to go introduce a brand new story to the small world around him. The end. I hope you enjoyed the story, and thank you so much for watching and listening. If you did enjoy, you can feel free to leave a friendly like on the video, or even feel free to consider subscribing if this is a channel you'd think you would enjoy. See you all next time! Bye!